Her defense has talked about reality being far more boring than the story you read in Bad Blood or the newspapers. What are you expecting to hear in this case as it plays out over the next few months?
Well, her defense has a steep hill to climb if that's the argument they're going to make, Emily, because what's going to be at battle in this courtroom is, did she know what she was doing or didn't she? And the prosecutors, I don't think, would have come this far if they didn't feel like they had a preponderance of evidence demonstrating that. Perhaps they won't. Perhaps it'll go in another direction in the courtroom. But I will assume that they've got evidentiary material that shows exactly what she was thinking at different points in time when Theranos and Holmes were making claims for its blood testing product that were wildly in opposition to what it could actually do. That may take the form of email, it may take the form of witness testimony from advisors of the company, from employees at the company, from outside investors. But that's really where the rubber will meet the road here. And her defense attorneys will obviously say that she was a zealous and passionate advocate for a product she believed in. And while she may have exaggerated things, she never knowingly misrepresented anything. And that's really what both sides have to accomplish in terms of a jury convincing a jury that she committed a crime. It's all about intent.
Of course, we've been waiting potentially for her defense to lay out this argument of her facing psychological abuse from her business partner, her ex-boyfriend, Sunny Balwani. If that happens, she could take this stand herself, which would be a pretty significant moment. The stakes are very high here. If Elizabeth Holmes takes the stand, what does she have to prove?
Again, she's going to have to prove that she didn't act with intent to mislead patients, investors, and business partners, all of whom were severely damaged by what occurred at Theranos. Elizabeth Holmes and her company blew through $600 million of other people's money. People's health was affected by it. Partners' business prospects were affected by this. And obviously, investors lost money. I think when she takes the stand, obviously, her own credibility is going to be at stake here. I think the argument that she was so psychologically damaged and abused by Sunny Balwani that she didn't know right from wrong is also a steep hill for them to climb. I think how she comports herself on the witness stand, the tone, her famous voice that has often entered different registers from time to time, is going to have an impact on this jury. There's a real risk here for her sitting in front of a jury, and I'm not convinced yet that her defense attorneys are going to let her do that. But if they do, it's going to be obviously a pivotal moment.
Tim, what's also interesting is that the journalist who blew the lid off of Theranos, Kerryroo, he was on our show yesterday. He wrote the original investigation in the Wall Street Journal of Theranos back in 2015. He's also on the potential witness list, and he believes that, if he is called, that part of the defense's argument will be to turn the table on her accusers, to say that this was a witch hunt. What do you make of that argument?
Well, we've heard witch hunt a lot in terms of different people defending themselves over the last several years, including the former president of the United States. People can claim whatever they want about the intention of prosecutors, Emily, but at the end of the day, in a courtroom, it's going to come down to cold, hard evidence. If you put in front of a jury explicit evidence that shows Elizabeth Holmes actively and knowingly misled investors and partners and ultimately patients, that's going to be a very damning outcome. And simply saying that the prosecutors are on a witch hunt won't obviate any of that.